Okay. Right. When you came to this Origin team, actually, I've done actually a whole bunch of shows this year with Amazing as like my co-host, and he always talks about stories. I can tell that was basically low key his favorite team to play in, kind of because of what you alluded to earlier. Like he loves the fact that he always gives that team as the example of what problem solving is like in European teams, because obviously he was in TSM, and apparently if you're in the American teams, oftentimes it's like they do it. They try to be like very civil, if you know what I mean. Like they try to just sit around in a circle, and you say in a very like polite voice, like I think we made a mistake that we you don't say like the jungler fucked up. You're like we made a mistake with our pathing, and we need to like set our lanes up correctly, guys, and let's review the VOD. And the idea is if anyone sort of like says anything aggressive, then they're looked at as like, oh, there's something wrong with him. Whereas he basically said like to him, Origin is like European problem solving. It's more like if you got a problem, you just give your idea. You say, like, I thought we fucked up the way this was. Why are you picking that champion? Next game, let's do it this way. And he basically always said, like, you're one of the main people who did that. Like, basically, he said, because you had all these veterans, they could just handle it, though. So if you were telling, like, Soaz or Expected, like, they're super veterans, they've been in every scenario, they've been in every final, like, it sounds like if you can handle that mentality, it was a fucking sick team to be in, right? You were figuring out all the shit out, how to play the games. And this is the prime time, season 5, of when the brain side of the game was super powerful, right?
Yes, I think a big thing, a bigger reason why that was possible was not just because of the veteran side of things, but because we had, a good established baseline culture from the situation we were put in, where we, I think Peke also did a very good job at it, whether it was intentional or not, but I think it was just his personality. But yeah, basically what I'm trying to say is that we went out for food together. We had this whole gaming house in Tenerife experience. We were playing paddle in like our paddle court there in the mansion, and going to the pool. We didn't really go out too much, but we did a lot of stuff together, whatever it was, And we were there 5 guys. We figured stuff out. We would we were like a bunch of guys in a house, and we had like this brotherhood feeling, right? So when there was an argument, or when someone would have a problem, like for example, I wouldn't be able to, I think to this day, I'm not able to do that. I can't just go to the next game and be like, next game will be better, guys. Just go next game. It's like, no, like what the fuck did we do wrong? Like what's our mistakes? Was it just me playing bad? Then just tell me, was it you playing bad? Then just say it. You played bad, go next game. That's fine. But tell me why you played bad, what you did wrong, I wanna help you, I'm here for you, and I want you to be there for me. And with that culture in mind, it was a lot easier for us to talk about what needed to be fixed. And I think that's what made us get so good so fast at the time, yeah, and catch up to Fnatic.
One thing about that team, even the one next year where you had Power of Evil and then Expected came back in the playoffs, is that team was just known to be like, because it was veterans as well, just clutch. Like on LAN in playoffs, in matches like famously the next year in the spring was the one where you guys like beat H2K when they were supposed to be favored to beat you. Like what do you think the secret to why that team was so good was?
That team was a fucking disaster. When Power of Evil came in, nothing. Like I need to be politically correct about this because he is actually a very nice guy, and like if you listen to what I just said earlier, when you put this unknown person in, he doesn't know what's going on, but there's like a bond that is transcended already, So when this guy comes in, he is being super nice, super polite, and we are not so nice and so polite. We're actually very radical in the way we say things, but at the same time, it doesn't feel like it's like
it was working before,
personal.
right? Yeah,
exactly. But with him, it was different, and we had to adapt to him and go through a lot of trouble, bonding with him. And he also had a very different view of how he wanted to play the games compared to what we have established before with Peke, who was really like all trick pony. Like he would just adapt or play what was good, play for the draft, play different styles, and again, he will try to learn and understand what other people are, because he was not good at any, like, it's not like he was like, holy shit, this guy is the best at this. He was just smart about, hey, this guy is beating me on this, and this, because he's doing all of these things better. So I'm gonna go ahead, understand why he's doing these things better, and just like, adapt myself to this person and pick champions that can screw with him in draft and all that stuff. So it was a very different approach with Power of Evil. I think he still has the same approach, and he's been super successful with it. We just weren't able to, like, I guess, trust him to play this style, even though we really, really tried and we adapted. But then in the spring final, Perks was just all over him, and it was really, really hard to deal with, and we didn't know how to. So yeah, that was our season, and I think, like, because of that and other problems, we just crumbled, and I was just tired of losing in the finals. Honestly, it was getting very overwhelming. So yeah.
So, okay, then that brings me to a point that, like, I know you vaguely alluded to in the past, but at the time it was a big drama, where because G2 went with their real team that won the spring and went to MSI, and they famously said that thing of, like, we were on vacation, and then they got banged out, like, 2-8 or whatever, and everyone laughed in their face, like, ha ha ha, vacation. It was like a big meme at the time. What people don't know is, behind the scenes, it wasn't quite just that they went to vacation. It was, like, basically, this is where that whole thing comes from, where people think Perks is like the master at poaching the players, isn't it? Because all of a sudden, right afterwards, the bot lane of OG came and was the G2 bot lane for the next year and a half. So how did that move come about? I don't think you can get wrecked for poaching out. So enough years away, I feel like it's fine to say whatever might have happened now.
I don't think so.
Okay.
So what I think a TLDR of what happened was, me and Jesper wanted to win. We knew we had a good opportunity to join G2, and we went ahead and took it. And I think it was, looking back at it in hindsight, I think it was a very, what's the word? Like, we did it too fast, right. Especially, I mean, now I'm not old. I've grown up a little bit more. And I kind of see that, maybe taking one more split and playing that next split out would have not been the worst of things, and I think it would have helped everyone more. I don't think the situation would have changed, because I still had in my brain to win. But at the time, I was just so upset with the loss. I just couldn't handle going to the next split and losing in the finals again. So yeah, we took a radical decision to join G2.
Because one thing that was definitely true, by the way, this wasn't something that was just like Twitter banter. The other players in OG were like pretty pissed at that, dude. Like, some of them felt like betrayed, like, or like, what the fuck? Like, I thought, like, especially the ones that have been with you for a year, they were like, what the hell? We're like, I thought things were going all right. We figure it out.
I mean, we all knew things were not going all right. I don't think it was about that. I think they just felt betrayed because the ship was sinking and we jumped first. That's it.
Okay,
we didn't sink all together and then left together, which is sort of the culture that we had created in the team. So it is fair for them to feel that way about us. There's but yeah, I think that's the reality of things. Was the ship was sinking. I took my first chance and jumped, and they stayed there. I took the safety boat and they drowned with the Titanic. Like, it's bad. I'm sure a lot of the guys in the Titanic were feeling bad their whole lives because of that. Maybe I will too. What can I say?
Well, here's the thing. Luckily, it did work out, because then you just won the next 3 finals. So the question is, was winning the was the feeling of winning? Was it everything you hoped it would be?
I felt like it was. So the first time I won in summer, I felt like I had to win, or I would have really struggled psychologically with everything that was going on. That it felt more like a blood victory, Like, I did what I had to do.
Relief. Yeah.
To win, and I won. And that's it, I freaking did it. That's my goal. I achieved my goal. And then it was like, okay, so now what, And that was when it hit me, like, oh shit, like, where am I? What have I done? This is different now. And we went to Worlds. The experience was totally different. The pressure was a lot higher. It was just like a totally different feeling from the Origen feeling, culture, fan base that had been created. And it was a struggle for sure. But in my head, I was not like, at the time, what it was like 5 years ago now, or I don't even know, 4 years ago now. I've been trying to win since 2013. So that was 3 years later. I still hadn't won shit, and I just couldn't handle it anymore because I felt like I was the best support in Europe for so many years already, and I just didn't win anything, and it was really hard for me in the back of my mind, and I wasn't patient enough. I never have been a very patient person, so that was a mistake, not being patient. But yeah, I don't regret it because I won. So